The first match week of the season kicks off Friday, August 5th. It's Arsenal traveling to Palace, a side that beat Arsenal and drew with them in the 2 games last season. You can get Crystal Palace a home win at plus 320. Which direction are you going for this match? And obviously, these opening week games can be a little bit tricky because we don't have data that's been produced over the course of this season. We're relying upon data of last season, off-season movement. Maybe you can work us through how you look at these games and how much you even take the transfer window and preseason action into consideration.
Yeah, I think the main thing, particularly for this game, it's a good example, is that we've got 2 teams that are very consistent in terms of the manager's still the same and the bulk of the squad is still the same. So that means that there's going to be no drastic changes in playing style. It means there's going to be no, massive drop off in terms of the quality of the players. We're looking at a similar kind of level from last season, which, in my opinion, makes this game a lot easier to assess than a Newcastle versus Nottingham Forest, for example. So, yeah, and as you said, the transfer window comes into it a little bit. You have to think Arsenal have strengthened somewhat, so you probably give them a couple of notches up in terms of the rating system. Crystal Palace, I would probably keep them the same. I know they lost Gallagher, but they brought in Decore. And as I said, they've got the likes of Elise and Eze, who will be coming back to full fitness ahead of this start of season. So yeah, in this game, I'm happy with where I've got both teams in my head anyway. And I was just hugely surprised to see Arsenal odds on to win at Palace. For all the transfers they've made, for all the improvements they're making slowly under Arteta, there's no way they should be going off odds-on favourites at Selhurst Park. It's a difficult place to go for start. And Crystal Palace, as I mentioned before, they're one of the best teams last season based on expected goals. They're ranked as the 6th best team in the entire Premier League, a place below Arsenal. So, they're not that far away from what Arsenal were last season. And I don't think they're going to be too far away this season based on the underlying metrics. So more than happy to get Crystal Palace on side, backing them plus 0.5 on the Asian handicap at minus 103. So basically Crystal Palace to win or draw the game. And that'll give us a sort of a nice payout. Yeah. The other thing that really sort of came into my mind was not only the overall performances of Crystal Palace last season, but at home they were absolutely sensational. They averaged 1.6 expected goals for per game, 0.97 expected goals against per game. That defensive total is actually the 3rd best home defense in the entire Premier League. Only Manchester City and Liverpool performed better defensively at home than Crystal Palace did based on expected goals. And you factor in they against the top 6, when they welcomed the top 6 to Selhurst Park, they won 3, drew 1 and lost 2, including a 3-0 win over Arsenal. So when welcoming the toughest teams in the league to their raucous home venue, they've got a really good record. So yeah, I'm more than happy to side with Palace. And Arsenal's away form was the one thing that let them down last season. They were sensational at home, absolutely fantastic at home. Away from home, they really struggled, and that ultimately was the difference between top 4 and not finishing the top 4. So that massive concerns for me anyway, heading to what is, in my opinion, one of the toughest places to go in the Premier League.